Right back.
What's going on, everybody? Rebel Ears YL here. Here with Ray, man. We're going live today, so we got a beautiful live stream for you all today. I hope everyone enjoys it. We're going to talk about a new album that I just got through working on. Ray came through to the album release party and got a lot of behind the scenes footage and got to talk to the artist. And it's going to be a really great live stream. So we got a lot to talk about today. Yeah.
I'm in this thing. How you doing, man?
What's up with it, bro? You all right?
Oh yeah, I'm wonderful. So right now we're talking about the album release of Rambo Heem's Preacher's Baby.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Now, the first time I met him was Saturday for the album release, and I'm not even gonna lie, I was actually surprised from a few things. The engagement of his family, because a lot of people talk about, I want to get my family involved, but he had his whole family on the project.
Yeah, that was major, man. Like, while we were recording the album, just to see how he would bring all of his family members into multiple sessions, I thought that was really dope. You really don't see that a lot. I mean, to be honest, I've seen people bring in kids, and every now and then somebody might bring in somebody into a session, but I mean, he really had his family in there, man. His brother, sister, mom, dad, grandma, got the dog barking on the album. I mean, the whole household is on the album. And I thought that was really dope, man. And it tells a lot about his character as well. So,
Oh yeah. Now let me go ahead and do the introduction. So how y'all doing? This is the live stream of Rebel Ears. This is Ray of RebelEars.com. This is YL the Rebel Ears. Rambo's Preacher's Baby came out this Saturday. It was a dope album release. YL worked on the whole project. Now, starting off, how did you meet Rambo?
I met Rambo a couple years ago. Over the pandemic, myself, my wife, and a few members of her family and a few other artists, we put together a couple showcases. Where we got a venue and artists perform their songs, and I recorded a lot of those songs as well, that we were recording. And Rambo happened to be one of the friends of one of the daughters that was an artist, and him and his partner, they both came out and performed.
Yeah.
So after they performed, we kind of, it was kind of already kind of set in stone that we kind of needed to work together. But it takes time. It takes time. So he ended up going off. I believe he got sent off with the Navy, and then when he came back, he hit me up and was like, he's ready to go. And I'm glad he did, man, because as an engineer, you hear a lot of talented artists, and we're able to hear when we know that, okay, they can go another level up with a different engineer. And that's not to shade any engineers or anything like that. Like, I've sent artists to better engineers than myself. Sometimes it's, artists hit a peak where it's time for them to um, elevate, elevate their sound, elevate the craft, elevate the art. And a lot of the times you need to elevate your engineers, or have your engineer elevate with you. So it was this was kind of work in the making already, needed to happen from a few years ago, really.
Oh, so y'all knew each other for a minute.
Yeah, it's been a couple years. Like I said, we never got in the studio. He was just a friend of one of the young female artists that was on the showcases with us. It was it was like a family oriented thing, and he was just one of the friends. But we had already chopped it up a few times outside of the performances about getting in the studio. And when he came back from the Navy, I guess he was ready to lock in, man. So we've been locked in ever since.
Yeah. Now, how was the vibe of the session? Because I know you had to work with not just the artist, but his friends, families, and pets.
Well, we didn't get the pets. The pet was a recorder, but No, the sessions were dope. I remember when he first called me. He called me and kind of just had a lot of concerns about the professionalism and about what I could do as an engineer for him, and
Yeah,
which is, that's pretty normal. I A lot of times when you have artists that want to change engineers for whatever reason, it could be because they're moving to a new state or anything. They want to find someone else to record with. They usually kind of trying to compare you to where they're coming from. So he called me, and I could tell by that conversation that um I had to just make sure that bring my usual professionalism. Like, even though I know you before, I still got to treat you like I would treat any other brand new artist because I'm introducing you to my brand. So that was the main thing for myself. And then, like, as far as like his vibe, it was always good, man. He came in ready to work. I could tell he was serious about it. No session went wasted. I think we got in the studio probably, I don't know, man, maybe about 6 or 7 sessions. Probably took about 6 or 7 sessions to record these 13 songs.
mm,
But he came prepared every time. He always came with what he wanted to do. He knew what he wanted to do. He gave great feedback on some of the creativity that he wanted in his songs. And I mean, as far as his family, hey, man, his dad's a preacher, you feel me? So everybody in the family, I don't want to say it like that, but everybody has some sense. And, a lot of times it's hard to get a room full of a bunch of people and everybody got some sense. But, when you got good parents, man, and the people around you respect your parents and respect what they stand for, it made the sessions easy for whoever came in, homeboys and all. Like, um, I like the fact that when the parents came by, you didn't smell any smoke. Everybody was respectful. It was dope, bro, because
yeah.
it makes an easier work environment for me as well, especially when I know that I have to work with multiple people on this album. The people that want to come in and sing or do anything on the album, they need to feel comfortable too. So the environment was excellent, bro. I enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, and the first time meeting everybody from the family and friends, I
Hmm.
felt like I was just, part of the family in a way.
Yeah, 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 man. Very welcoming family, very welcoming artists. It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure. We definitely locked in. We got way more work to do.
Yeah. Now, another reason why I like the album release because you go to a lot of album release, you see artists playing the music, they walking around, drinking, smoking, doing what they want to do. Now, he set up a whole show.
He
That was
did.
the vibe. Every track was played like two, three times. He
Hmm.
never lost the energy. His homeboys was right behind him. They was doing like the slide. I was like, man,
Yeah,
that I can't wait for him to perform those tracks.
yeah, man. We're gonna put out as much of this footage as we can as well, and we'll talk about you getting behind the scenes footage and stuff like that later on. But I do want to highlight that he really kind of checked all the boxes on this album. He spent the money on recording. He spent the money on, bringing everybody in and making everybody a part of the album, making sure the support is there. He spent the money on the mixes. He spent the money on the album release and turning it into an actual experience. So when people see this video footage and the people that was there, I think everybody just gonna feel that vibe and that experience. It was a good one, man. It was a good vibe.
Oh
It was
yeah.
it was probably the best album release party I've done. No shade to anybody else. I say that because of the turnout and the vibe. Everybody knew the songs already. Well, not everybody, but some of the people knew the songs because they recorded some of them. So they were able
Yeah.
to help him keep the energy going, and it was good, man. It was a good vibe.
Yeah, I like how there was what was that song? He had his sister on it. I'm trying to remember the title of it. It was
I think that's mixed emotions. I think.
I don't
Don't-
think I don't think it was Mixed Emotion. I think it was ah, it's on the tip of my tongue because I was listening to the album earlier today actually.
don't think.
Yeah,
She's singing.
13 tracks, man.
She's singing in the beginning.
Yeah.
I think that's mixed emotions.
Man, I must be missing my tracks then.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, when I was listening to it, I was just like
But he got his, I
lost for
think
the fact.
his
Hmm?
mom singing on there. He has his sister singing, maybe on more than one. I know the family is singing on the on one of them. All of the family members. Trying to think, that might be mixed emotions. I don't know. We might, yeah, maybe.
So his mom was singing too.
Yeah, she's on the background on Catch. I think it's Catch a Vibe. I want to say the one where they were doing. Yeah, it's Mixed Emotions. The one you talking about with his sister, Mixed Emotions.
Okay,
But his
yeah, yeah.
mom is on the background on Catch a Vibe where they were doing the slide, doing that
Yeah.
dance. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's gonna be the party song right there, man. Yeah,
Oh
for
yeah,
sure.
I agree on that. Now, when it comes to working with Rambo and his family, how was that vibe in the session? Because of course, like you said, you was recording his mom, his sister, and then his father came in doing some solo tracks.
Yeah, 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 for sure. I mean, it was cool. Like it was normal for me. I mean, I've worked, like I said, I've been in the studio where sometimes kids will come in with parents, and I've done some gospel work before. So it was cool. My whole thing was I just wanted to make sure everybody was comfortable, because outside of having a bunch of different people in the studio is, some people are not really used to recording, some people are not used to hearing themselves.
Yeah,
So it was mainly just making sure when everyone left the studio, they felt that they contributed in the right way. They were satisfied with their performance and the way it sounded. But it was smooth, man. It was a good experience all the way through, bro. All the way through.
yeah, but that what makes a great engineer too, because of course you're focusing on the client or the artist, but if you got multiple people in the room, you gotta know how to control the crowd, and
Yeah.
everybody felt comfortable. The project came out amazing.
Hmm.
Now, you recorded all this at the same studio on the South Side, correct?
Um, it was more, probably like maybe 2/3 of it was at Time Matters. Yeah, on the South Side. Yeah.
Oh, so y'all picked multiple studios?
Yeah. So the first part of the album was recorded at Castle Hill in the B room.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I would say probably about a third of it, because we did come back and re-record some of those songs. We redid some of those. But yeah,
So
two separate studios. Yeah.
so when you say you had to redo the song, it was like what, like a demo or just a practice run?
No, well, it's just the process. A lot of sessions, especially when you're trying to work on an album or anything that you're serious about, a lot of sessions are not really practice, but you hear things. Hindsight is one thing that will save the world if we all could use it.
Yeah.
But you'll take it home and you'll hear some things like, "Oh, I should have said it this way," or "I was sounded flat right there." So it was really just perfecting it, man. It was just all part of the process. Just coming back in, perfecting certain bars, certain verses, adding different things to it. Even some of the family members came back in multiple times. So it really just showed the dedication, of just really just trying to get it right and get everybody satisfied. So yeah.
Yeah. So from the whole project, what was your like top moment from a session? You was like, oh yeah,
So on the song, "My Heart Belongs to You," the family has at the end of the song, it's an acapella. Um, they're singing the hook acapella,
yeah.
and it's one take, one recording. Like, it's not multiple different tracks. Everybody went in the booth at the same time and harmonized and sung the end of the hook acapella. Um, so when you listen to it, it sounds great, but it's also just almost as natural as you can have it. Like, I really didn't do too much mixing to it, because how can you? Right? You got 6, 7 different voices all on one track. It's not really a lot of mixing
Oh,
you can do to that. Exactly. Right. So
that's
uh,
crazy.
yeah, and that was probably one of my favorite parts. But as they were recording it, I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be hard. So it sounds good. It's supernatural. Like I said, what you're hearing is really them singing. They're in there together. Rambo is in there with them singing lead, and they're in the background harmonizing. My heart belongs to you. That's probably like my favorite part of the whole tape or recording process. Actually, yeah, yeah, for sure.
Okay. So let me ask you this. What were some of the plugins that you used on the project that you know of?
Um, Let me see. I'm gonna tell you. Of course, auto tune, a little bit of auto tune. Um, I did most of my because I did quick mixes, so I did most of my subtractive
So,
EQ with the 7-band EQ, which is a stock plugin. Most of my
oh, the
subtractive
Style Pro Tools,
EQ,
yeah.
yep, is done with that. The 7-band. Of course, I use my H series, the H EQ, the H comp, the H verb, the H
Oh,
delay.
Waves.
Yeah, I use mostly waves on this because I had to do a little bit of mixing kind of like remotely. So I didn't really have all of my UAD stuff to set up with. So but yeah. Mostly waves. Definitely I use the whole 8 series pretty much. And a few stock plugins. Yeah.
So
Pool Child
when it comes
60,
to, huh?
Pool Child 660, CLA 2A. I use the SSL G channel, G
Mm,
script. Um, it wasn't a lot, man. I didn't use a lot of plugins on this album. That's definitely the bulk of them. That's
okay.
definitely.
So, of course, normally when you go out to different studios, you try to stay within what you know that you
Mhm.
could travel to different studios, and they got majority of studios have Waves plugins.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, when it comes to Universal Audio,
Yeah.
unless you're trying to get that
I mean,
quality and spend money.
but see now, the UAD, they got this new thing now to where you don't need the interface anymore to be able to use UAD plugins. So they really just they're probably gonna tear the whole market apart. Waves, Sound Toy, all of these different plug-in companies, they really in trouble now because now you don't have to have the interface to get the plugins for UAD. Um, of course,
Mm,
we rather have the interface in the satellite, but it is hard to find a lot of studios that have a lot of UAD plugins, at least the UAD plugins that we have. So I like to use Waves just to keep it, universal. Yeah.
okay. So during the album release, because of course, first time meeting him, we had a talk before the album release because you was talking about maybe interviewing a few people, interviewing Rambo.
Mm-hmm.
But I took that moment as a time to just, indulge in the moment, but also provide value. Because of
No.
course I can, do interviews here and there, but when you was telling me that it was this album release, I already know majority of the time artists just want footage. So I
Yeah.
was just going crazy with the
Man, look,
recording.
you was working, bro. I was like, man, Steve need a soda, a break of water, something.
No, I
You was
enjoyed it
going
actually.
nonstop. I don't even think the camera cut off the whole night, man. I really appreciate it. I know, bro, really appreciate it too, man. It was a good night. It was a
Yeah,
good.
man, no problem. I like to help out those who I want to show support to those who I believe in. I don't just, I'm not going to just do that for anybody.
Right, for sure, for sure,
Yeah,
for sure. And see,
yeah,
another thing too, man. Like you said, in that whole process too, is like, you know, it's really all about adding value. You know what I'm saying? And
exactly.
no matter what we do and where we go, you're gonna leave your impression behind. And this is just that one of those times to where, for the most part, Ray is an engineer. He's going, we do our podcast and he has a whole lot of content that he already does on his own. So to come out to a album release just to kind of get footage that's going to benefit the artist more, it'll benefit us as well. But it's just about him leaving his mark. And I know for a fact that Rambo, he has the impression that, that you're a valuable person. You know what I'm saying? And not even just to say it just because you came and did your footage, but you were allowed to show yourself in showing that you just coming out, enjoying yourself, team player. Like you knew what needed to be done over what was necessary for us. You knew what needed to be done for the vibe itself, and that's that's major. So you can be more than an engineer and add value to the clients and to the different people that you're working with. So I appreciate
Yeah,
it, bro.
that's true. That's why we do more than just press record, man.
That's a fact. That's a fact. We are the vibe setters in every way. I didn't even have, and that was major too. That I didn't even have to. Usually at album release, I'm usually playing the album from the computer. We
Yeah,
had a DJ there, so I didn't even have to touch the computer. I didn't have to pull up Pro Tools or anything or pull out my hard drive. I was able to enjoy it. You were able to enjoy it. We didn't have to be the button pushers for the day. We just were able to help set the vibe, and that felt good as well. So, and I think we did a good job doing that too.
oh yeah, he
For sure.
had it set up correct. He
Yeah,
had
it was dope.
DJ, he had food, he had
Mhm.
drinks,
Mhm.
family.
You
Yeah,
gotta
it was all
invest.
there.
Your artists, y'all gotta invest in yourselves. Y'all
That's
will see. I
true.
think this footage will open up a lot of eyes as well. Because it don't take much, man. It just take the people that's just gonna support you and you wanting to spend a little bit of money because the album release in itself is gonna create so much traction for the tape. Just spending that little bit of money, investing in himself, having people to show up, and of course we had our cameras and we got a bunch of footage, but it's gonna bring so much traction. And I hope once we start posting some of this stuff, if he getting new followers and all of that from us, then people will pay attention to how much went into the tape outside of just recording and mixing. It's gonna be a lot of content.
Exactly.
And you need that. After the production, you got to get into the marketing. You got to get into pushing what you just spent all your money recording and mixing. So I hope everyone gets to see that much out of everything that we've done with this tape so far.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
you got to invest in yourself, especially if you think that this is going to be something long term.
Hmm.
Even with me just coming there to record, I already knew for a fact that it was something. When you told me like Rambo is someone you want to work with long term, I was like, okay, I need to do something to add value at this moment.
Right,
So I
right,
was
right.
just thinking, I brought the equipment, might as well just film the whole session. I made it like a whole scene. It was
Yeah, it's like
crazy.
oh man, hey, it's dope too. And we already, we already looked at some of the footage, so it'll be coming out soon. And I know Rambo will be posting some stuff. So we'll try to get him going on with a lot of his own content. But we're posting a lot of the behind the scenes Rebel Ear stuff for our crowd too. So it's gonna be plenty of content for y'all to go and look at. Hopefully y'all get inspired by that.
Yeah. Now your ebook, you know, attracting reoccurring clients.
Hmm.
Your ebook basically summarized how you can work with an artist and work on their whole project. You didn't just work on one track; you work on the whole project.
Yeah, and how to lock them in. Like, it's a numbers game. Like I get a lot of clientele that I work with maybe once or twice or three times for whatever reason. But it's important to be able to get those clients that's serious about their craft. If you meet somebody that's really serious about their craft, your job is to lock them in because they're looking for someone that's just as serious as they are.
Yeah,
All you got to do is bring your craft. If you're on the level that they're on and you can bring the quality, you can bring the vibe, you can bring everything that you need to bring. It's all in my ebook, by the way. Then you'll be able to lock those clients in. And that's how I've been able to just work with the same clients for so many years. And Rambo, one of them, we about to lock in, man. So I know for a fact that we got more work to do. And this is the first tape. So the chemistry, we still building. The workflow, we still building. So for it to come out as well as it did, then it's already kind of it makes sense. You know what I mean? So if you have not downloaded the free ebook, go get it because it works.
yeah. And then one of my favorite moments of the album release, he shouted you out multiple times throughout the whole album release. He was like, "Man, this is my engineer Lee, man. He did the whole project, man." And he started talking about the background from his last engineer, and that just show you how you not every engineer is the same.
Nah, for sure. And I had to let him know that as well because when we had the conversation before he even booked with me, I was like, dang, well, I'm sorry you went through that kind of stuff, but you know, bro, I really do this for a living, you know. This is my livelihood. So 100% straightforward business is the only way I know how to uh, react, you know what I mean, or know how to work. So that right there was major. And I did appreciate it, man. I really appreciate. We don't really get shout outs. We don't get too much love as engineers, but
Yeah.
um, I think for him, mostly outside of this being like his first solo tape, his first major tape, I think this for him was the first time he really got to see the process to like, oh, this is kind of what it should be like when I'm trying to put a project together. Um, a lot of people, and I don't knock no engineer. I don't knock any engineers. I got so much I need to learn. I'm still learning. But a lot of people that say they engineer, they don't know how to really do the business side of it.
Yeah.
They don't know how to be professional. They might not have been taught correctly. You got a lot of guys that they just, learn how to work Pro Tools, so they start engineering. A lot of producers are engineering now. A lot of artists are engineering themselves. I do not knock it. We always push self knowledge over here. So if you learn it and you got the equipment to work on it, by all means, do it. But I don't believe in everyone calling themselves an engineer. So I think this tape was kind of an eye opener for Rambo, for him to be like, oh, this is what it really should sound similar to, and this is what the experience should be similar to when I'm in the studio and I'm working with a real engineer and I'm working with somebody who really do, like, I pay my bills, I take care of my family with audio. So I take it really, really serious. It's not a hobby for me. I am not practicing. um I know what I'm doing. I am learning, but I'm definitely not practicing. So I really
Yeah.
do this. And so I think that was the major thing. I think that's why he shouted me out so much, which I really appreciate. I'm not used to. But I really, like I said, I think it was just an eye opener for, he's getting the full package. He's getting the full package. You got an engineer that I recorded so much footage for him while we were recording sessions, and I didn't mind doing it. Um, I'm gonna bring the quality. I'm always on time. He never beat me to the studio, and God forbid that happens. But I usually, the artists will never beat me to the studio.
Yeah.
I'm always on time. I'm professional. So I think that this was just a whole package for him that I was a big part of making this whole process a real pleasure for him, and for this tape turning out so good. I think he was just kind of caught up in the moment. But
Yeah.
I definitely appreciated it though. You know what I mean? That was major though. I appreciate it.
Oh yeah. Now the reason why I was saying what you were saying, not knocking any engineers, I will. I cannot stand unprofessional engineers, especially who tries to take advantage. That's why I tell, artists, invest in a hard drive because you never know what kind of person you're gonna work with.
Yeah.
You know, you're gonna work with some good hearted people, but when money gets involved, sometimes, sessions get lost.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And I don't know. I respect the independent dollar. I make a living off of independent artists. I've never really cared about big names and plaques, and I don't really care about that. I know a lot of guys that get that and they're not consistent in the craft.
Yeah.
And my whole thing is just being consistent. The easiest way for me to stay consistent is to work with independent artists that are looking for the next level, or someone that's professional enough and has the quality enough to be able to bring them to where they want to be. And outside of that, I respect the artist dollar. A lot of engineers don't. When you respect their dollar, even if it's 50, because you got to understand, if I'm charging the artist $50 an hour to record, that's what I'm charging the artist. So I got to treat that like it's $300 an hour, because I'm the one who's making that bill up. I'm the one who's creating that price. So no matter how little money it is, I need to respect the fact that they're spending it. They got to go to work for it. My wife is an independent artist. I've been in their shoes where I got to pay for studio time and try to get stuff going. Like I know how much it costs just to be able to get in and record something that's lackluster. You know, like a lot of artists, they're beginners. They don't understand the art of recording, but they still spend their hard earned money on it to
Yeah,
get in the studio and get better. And it might be a lot of songs that I don't feel like should be released that a lot of artists release, but it's not my place to tell them that. And it's more so just me giving them everything I can give them for the money they're spending. So if more engineers did that, I think we'll be better off.
I agree with that. A
Yeah.
lot of engineers need to think more on the lines of, I keep using the word long term because people just thinking like, after this session, that's it. Nope. After
Nope.
this session, you thinking like, what's the next project? What's the next song? When's you trying to link up next weekend? Oh, 2 weeks? Okay, let's go. Oh, you trying to do 4 songs today? Okay, let's go.
And to be honest, if you are a freelance engineer, meaning you don't intern or work for a studio where you got somebody calling you and giving you sessions to go work on, or you get the assistant engineer for whatever sessions that the main engineer is doing in the studio, like you get all your own clients, you book all your own sessions. If you're a freelance engineer, you better be thinking long term because that's what's going to keep you consistent. It only takes about 6 to 7 artists that are really serious about their craft, that really rock with you in your quality and your professionalism, and that those 6 or 7 artists will keep you busy. You got to understand, artists are dropping every few months. If you do 6 artists, 7 artists in 2 months, three of them probably gonna do a mixtape. It's
Yeah.
probably 40 songs. Outside of all of the times they got to come and record those songs, and you got singles dropping from the other artists, and like I mean, you will stay busy if you think long term, man. So, but yeah,
Yeah, I agree on that. Now, when it comes to, you were saying that you always beat the artist. An artist never beat you to a session.
yeah, I done had artists show up to the studio before me, but I've never had an artist be at the studio and the clock start and I'm not there.
Oh yeah,
I've had artists, they come to the studio 30 minutes early because they're already in the area or something. I've had that before, but I've never had a artist call me lips dry, man. A lot of talking.
nah, you good, man.
You feel me? But I never had an artist really just call me and be like, "Hey, it's so and so on the clock. I'm here. Where you at?" Nah, never. Nah, never.
Never. Got to be
Mm-mm.
on time.
Yeah, gotta. That's
Got to be
that's the
early.
important thing. That's your first impression. The first time I meet the artist is when we first get to the studio. If you
Oh
there and the clock has started and I'm not there and I'm rushing in, walking in, I can't even greet you properly because I'm rushing in, I'm running in, trying to get my hard drive pulled up. You looking at the time, we 15 minutes behind trying to get started. Like you'll lose clients right then and there, especially clients that don't have to go for that. A lot of artists don't understand that you can leave these sorry engineers that you deal with. You don't have to be stuck with engineers. You don't have to be loyal to people that's not professional and that's just not good at what they do. You don't have to do that. It's your money. It's your career. So go somewhere where you're going to get everything that you're supposed to get out of it. You know what I'm saying?
exactly.
If you're dealing with engineers that don't know how to treat your dollar and they're just not that good at what they do, then find another one. It's just that simple.
And
It's
that
that.
remind me too, because when you was talking about, you know, a engineer being late for the artist. I remember when I was interning at Castle Hill, there was an artist who was literally saying, "Man, I'm about to go, man. I'll see y'all." I'm like, "What happened?" And then the engineer comes. The
Mm-hmm.
engineer was late, didn't tell the artist nothing. Of
Yeah,
course, the artist was late, the engineer was late, but there was no communication. That just,
yeah. Now that's wild, man. And things happen. Like the artist is
yeah,
usually always late. Artists are usually late, which I don't really mind. Um, But if it's ever a moment that I might be getting somewhere late or stuck in traffic on it might be a huge accident, push everybody back.
Yeah.
Things do happen. But man, I plan for it. Like if I know I gotta leave an event, like I'm doing some live sound, I'll book a session for 2 hours after I'm supposed to be off. So that gives me an extra hour to stay late if I need to, and it still give me an hour to get to, because I'm not going home. I'm going straight to the studio. I got my hard drive. I got everything I need. So either I'm going to get there super, super, super early, or I'm still going to give myself a huge window to get there on time. So yeah, people just gotta. I don't know. I'm just like that in my regular life. I'm a contractor, so I work for myself. So even when I'm doing live sound, I'm freelancing, so I'm my own business. Like if I'm late, then I screw up my own business. So I'm really big on being on time. Everyone else should be too.
Oh yeah, I agree on that. You got to be professional in any field. It don't even have to be just an engineer,
Mm-hmm.
artist, you know, professional parent, professional teacher, whatever. You
Yeah,
got to
I'm
do the
on time
job.
for football practice. I coach football. I'm on time for football practice. I don't like being late. It's just about being on time. It's all about first impressions. All about first impressions. But yeah, man, it was a good. It was. I think we probably took us about maybe 2 months to finish this project, and it was a pleasure. It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure. Now I do want to talk about the deadline. I didn't think we were gonna make the deadline.
Why?
Well, we had to get back into the studio and fix a few songs last minute. And I know a lot of times when you turn in these projects, when you got full projects to turn into these distro companies, it might take a week, 5 days to get everything cleared and to actually have albums post. Like albums take longer than singles usually. Um, and bro, when I tell you I was moving, I did like 5 songs in one day. Then I came back and did like another 3 songs the next day. I did like 13 songs in like 3 to 4 days. And that's mixing them and finalizing them. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? Now, granted, they were quick mixes. But I did a little bit more than what a quick mix would get, just because, like I said, I respect the dollar. The fact that, he recorded every song with me. I'm adding up all of the money he's spending with me in my head. So I wanted to
yeah,
make sure that, you know, he got a little bit more than what the buck entail, but at the same time, it's my name, it's my brand, this is my sound as well. So another thing for engineers to pay attention to is, just because you don't charge full price don't mean you shouldn't still do everything you can to make it sound good, because it's still your brand. It's still
exactly.
something that you can use to promote and get other clients. And a lot of people, when I meet artists out and about and they find out I'm an engineer, the first thing they say is, yeah, man, send me a link to something you done before. They want to hear another artist that I didn't work with. You know what I'm saying? I'll definitely be
Yeah,
sending this Preacher's Baby link out. Definitely one of my favorite projects I didn't worked on in a while. So but nah, the,
and you,
the mixing process was intense because I was working in those same days too. So
oh dang. So you
yeah,
were just
one
out and
work,
about.
and I was getting it in, man. The beautiful thing about it, and this is why it's important to get great recordings. I recorded everything. I was familiar with every song already. A lot of the songs we did go back and fix in the recording process. So the mixing, it was easier than somebody sending me 13 songs saying, "Hey, I need this mix," and I didn't record anything. I didn't touch them. That's when the process gets a little different, because I got my own template I'm working off of, because I recorded everything. So it was smooth, man. It was smooth. But it was strenuous because I was trying to make sure I turned it in to him so he can get it in. And I think
Before the deadline.
yeah, I gave it to him like on a Tuesday evening, maybe Tuesday night.
And you had 4 days?
And it cleared that Saturday, bro. I was surprised. I was surprised. Maybe 3 days. It might have been that Wednesday morning. And but that's the business. That's what we do. For a lot of engineers, they know that that's just what we do. That's what we do. We're gonna stay up all night. We're gonna stay up late. I think every night I was mixing, we was probably texting 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. Me and Rambo. I was still up trying to get things done, sent to him. We talking, we having conversations about what need to be fixed. You know, part of the process. So I just wanted to highlight that work because that's the part that a lot of engineers don't talk about. You do
Yeah.
all the recording, everything is sounding good, it's sounding decent. A lot of people don't really pay for mixes if the recording sounds great, which I'm glad he took it to another level to get it mixed. But a lot of people don't talk about after doing all the recording and then doing the last minute fixes, artists sending you fix sessions like outside of Rambo. Of course, I deal with artists that send me tapes to mix, and they're sending me newer verses 2 days before I'm supposed to have the tape done. And like the time crunch of trying to get everything done so the artist can make the deadline. First of all, don't take a project that you can't take, right? I knew that I would be able to do my quick mixes in that span of time to get it to him and just cross my fingers. But if I would have had to do full track out mixes and it would have been a whole deal, I probably wouldn't have been. I would have let him know that I don't think we're gonna make that deadline. Because as an engineer, you don't want to be the blame for why the deadline was not met.
Oh yeah, that's true.
No, the artists don't care about your personal life. They just know you said this how much it's gonna cost, and I'll have it done by this time. You have to make sure that you can make that possible because they plan. Like we did an interview, we did so much around July 13th, that date, to where for me it was like if it drops on the 14th, I'm screwed. You know what I'm saying? I didn't get it in time. Ideally, that probably wouldn't have been the case, but that's as an engineer, I'm the last one to touch it. That's how I'm feeling. So
Yeah.
as engineers, just making sure that that is important. And for the most part, I don't think I've ever missed a hard deadline with an artist, bro. I stay up all night and get it done. So
Yeah. Now, when you was talking about quick mixes, because there's another person who does professional quick mixes. You know who I'm talking about, right?
I don't know. A lot of people do quick mixes.
Young Thug's engineer,
Oh, Two Man.
Alex Tomei.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. A lot of engineers do quick mixes. Like if you deal with engineers, it's basically a tier system.
Yeah.
Some quick mixes, like engineers give you a price range. They might start their mixes at 200, and they might go all the way to 6, 7, 8, 12, depending on who the engineer is.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, quick mixes is just like that first tier of mixing. Um, if you hear Preacher's Baby, that's a little bit more than a quick mix. But I work for myself, so I'm able to, kind of do what I want to do on a artist to artist basis.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Now, the last thing I do want to talk about, because after the album release, everybody got together and just, told Rambo congratulations, and then being honest with, even Rambo had a moment talking about, he was happy for the inner circle who was there.
Right, right,
Because of
right,
course, any event you have, you're gonna invite, as many people. They say, yeah, we're gonna come through, and then him speaking about it at the end, talking about, there was a lot of people who said they was gonna come through and promised they was gonna pull up, and then I'm looking around the room, and the people who I care about are here.
right.
Yeah,
No, that was major, man, and I really think that was like the whole. Because I even asked him in the interview as well. Is just I could tell like all of the people that he was bringing into his studio sessions, they were not there to just be there and hang out. He actually made them part of the songs. So one thing that I saw was a strong support system. It don't take a lot of people. It don't take a lot of people. As long as that system is strong.
yeah.
And I saw that throughout the whole process, man. So I really wasn't surprised that I saw even though it was supposed to be a whole lot more people there, it was still a great turnout in my opinion.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, it was.
it was a great turnout, and for it to be kind of where it was, the location is like I think that as an artist, you doubt yourself. I mean, as a person, period. Even as an engineer, I go through it where sometimes I doubt my mixes, and we know when you're a creative, you always wonder, am I good enough? Is this gonna work for me? You know, am I wasting my time? You know, any kind of creative, no matter what you're doing, whether it's dancing or whatever it may be. Um, a lot of people will look at what we do and say it's a hobby and say it's not possible to be successful in doing what we do. And it's enough of us that prove them wrong.
True.
But I think with I think that was his moment to stop doubting himself. Like I think that was his moment to realize that it didn't matter if everybody showed up to the album release. The people that he cared about, the people that, because that's usually the hardest people to get to support you, the people that you know, the people that
Yeah.
you grew up with, the people that know you. And I think that was just like a all in all come home moment for him to see everybody that he thought about and cares about. He put them on the album, and they showed up when he needed them to show up the most. And they drove out the parking lot. Everybody was playing the tape. You know, every car that drove out the parking lot was playing the tape. So, you know, having that support, man, I think every artist deserves that much at least. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It was a dope event. I can't wait for the live performance. That's what I'm waiting on.
Hmm. So yeah, he just told me
Uh
if,
oh.
I don't even know if I can say this, but we're trying to get some performances together. Of course, I mean I probably can say this because that's the next part of promoting the tape. We got to get out and get some performances. So if y'all don't know, I'm the engineer, but at the same time, I do this with other artists that I rock with. When I deal with artists and I see that they're serious about their craft, I try to help them out as much as I can, man. So we definitely gonna get some live performances coming, and I know for a fact that catch a vibe once we get them steps down and start teaching everybody that.
I'm gonna
I
be
know
two stepping
everybody
with you, man.
step stepping and spinning, and they go, hey, we're gonna have a good old time, man. We're gonna have a good time. But that's definitely on the way. It's definitely some visuals on the way. If you have not listened to it yet, go listen to Rambo Heem, RAMBOHEEM.
Hmm.
Rambo Heem, Preacher's Baby, available everywhere, even on Instagram and TikTok and everywhere you can look on social media. Research the name, the music will pop up, man.
Preachers, baby. Amazing album.
Yeah, man.
So, what I want to say, of course, as always, thank you for your time, man. This was a fun live stream. We got in depth with Rambo's album, Preacher's Baby, that's out right now on all platforms.
Yeah. I appreciate you for having me. Of course, I'm glad I was available to actually join this live, man. And
You be busy, man. We be
yeah,
busy.
yeah. We both we hey, that's what we do. That's what we do. So it's always a pleasure when I got time to sit down and chop it up with you, bro. And you know, talk to the people and give the people a little something that we've been having going on. So more stuff on the way from Rebel Ears and from Rambo. So y'all know what's going on.
Oh yeah. And then for everybody who's watching the live stream, next Tuesday, I'm gonna give something away. I don't know what it is yet, but I am going to announce it on the live stream. So anybody who's watching this later on, 1 p.m. every Tuesday, going live, talking about engineering, self-development, projects, all that. It's gonna be dope.
Yeah. Every Tuesday, I make sure y'all tune into the live, and anytime I'm available, I'm popping in. You dig?
Yeah. So from everybody at Rebel Ears, want to tell everybody thank you for listening and watching. Keep tuning in.
Future sound ordinary.